All right, let's talk about how to guesstimate burgers
Boom.
using the chain restaurant method.
Because you know we love our burgers.
Oh man. All right. So not a damn chance. This was their version of a smash burger. And so this is apparently they use two 3-ounce patties because everyone in Austin's like, well, how big are these patties if I'm paying $16 for a burger? So they had posted it and found out that they're 3-ounce patties that they use.
There you go. $8 for 3 ounces.
Yeah. No, that's per patty. That was per patty.
Yeah, well, $16 for two patties.
Oh, yeah, duh. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
There you go.
But anyways, all right, let's find a chain. So what you can do is search for smash burger chain. So there might be some that you know off the top of your head, but it also depends on like what do you classify as a smash burger?
Yeah, because I think it's in and out. Yeah, there it is. It's
Yep.
supposedly smash patty, but I like they've been around for years. I don't know if I would have been like they're smash patties, but
Yep.
apparently.
So here's a couple. Smash Burger, there's Five Guys, Shake Shack, In-N-Out, Freddy's Custard. But like when it comes to smash burgers, the thickness of the patty is going to vary. And also knowing that the meat ratio tends to vary. Like some people, like most people use a fattier cut of meat for smash burgers to get that like nice juicy smash
To keep it
crust.
juicy when they smash it
Exactly.
versus like drying it out.
Exactly. But when it comes to like burgers, you want to think about like, okay, like what are the toppings? Is it like a super fatty patty? Like what are you adding on it? Are you doing like bacon, mustard? What's the bun? How big is the patty? Are we talking 3 ounces? Are we talking half pound? All of those different things, right? And so sometimes like you can find out like how big your burgers are. Like if you go to, I mean, Yard House is a chain restaurant, but a lot of places that do big burgers are like, oh, you get a half-pound patty or a half-pound burger. And they're referring to the burger patty when it comes to that. So this is smash burger. And so we can look to see like, oh, like these look like they are decent sized patties that are on here. And so what we can do, what the nice part about Smashburger is they actually have an online nutrition estimator on here. And so you can see here, you can choose your bun, your protein, your cheese, your sauces, and all those different things. And so then it'll build the nutrition facts for you. So apparently Smashburger uses about a 3.75 ounce patty. So if I built it similar to what we were planning on eating, the calories would come in around 940 calories. This is Five Guys.
Oh.
This looks super juicy.
Yeah.
And apparently they use a 3.3 ounce patty. But in using theirs, so this is their like PDF, I had calculated it up. That would come in around 1245 on the calories. So a little higher on the calories, even though the patties are smaller. So maybe they're using a fattier version of meat.
Yep. There's all kinds of reasons for that. Fattier meat, potentially use 2 slices per patty of meat or whatever. But this is why looking at a few different places to gather the information to see like, all right, what's closest to what I'm going to be eating makes all the difference in the world.
Yep. And then there's Shake Shack. So Shake Shack, apparently they use a 4-ounce patty. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little hesitant on their nutrition facts because
and this is where experience comes into play because it's like, oh, you read it and it's like, oh, like that sounds too good to be true. It sounds phenomenal. And that's where it's like, all right, you get to make the informed decision for yourself on how you want to take this information and utilize it.
Yeah. So this is apparently their nutrition facts say that so they use a 4-ounce patty, and these patties with how I built it it'd be 700 calories. So this is the biggest patties with the least amount of calories.
Sounds like heaven.
It does sound like heaven, but I'm like, is it?
Yep.
Is it? Maybe it is. Like you never know.
But I also, like we've talked about before, another great way to test it is to take it at face value and see how your body responds, how your weight fluctuates, and then go from there, right? So we're not saying that it is or isn't right or wrong.
Yeah.
But that's where you get the skill to be able to guesstimate and then test and see, all right, how accurate does this feel, or how does my body respond to when I say this is 700 calories?
Yep, exactly. Hence what he just said. Decide what you want and account for it, right? So let's talk about a loaded baked potato. You're like, who eats loaded baked potatoes? Well, when you come to Texas, apparently it's a massive thing out here. All right. Yeah. So this is, and it's a massive thing. And these things are fucking massive. Yes. Okay. So this was one that we had. It's a loaded baked potato. It was loaded, literally loaded with brisket, sour cream, cheddar cheese, bacon. So
we added queso, I think.
We did. Well, later. It's not in the picture. Yeah. So with the queso, it was a queso emergency.
Yeah. We broke the glass and poured it on there.
We did. It was pretty good. But basically, once again, you find a chain restaurant, search for a loaded brisket baked potato. You can either add like nutrition facts in there for it, Google your like inside of your nutrition tracker as well. Thinking about like, I'm eating a loaded baked potato. What type of restaurant possibly serves a loaded baked potato? Like maybe a steak place serves a loaded baked potato.
Yeah.
What barbecue spots am I aware of that have nutrition facts that have that?
But
Like,
when you go to search, like she was saying, when you start the search, you're searching for the type of food or the dish that you're eating, maybe not specifically where you're eating it. And you may not even start out with restaurants. So you search for what dish you're eating and then look for the restaurants, oh, like I'm familiar with this, or this could be a place that could serve something like what I'm going to be having.
yeah. So like as you can see, there's a couple. So like True Texas Barbecue, Billy Sims, there's a couple different restaurants that are like, oh, looks like they might have nutrition facts. I wonder what these loaded baked potatoes look like.
Oh.
So you would compare yours to theirs. So this is True Texas Barbecues. This is their photo. I like to also look at other people's photos because, as you know, most restaurants tend to
Put
like,
their best foot
oh,
forward.
they totally do.
You see
But
pictures of McDonald's burgers and
oh, come on, they
you've
don't look like
ordered
that.
one.
Exactly. But theirs has sour cream, brisket, bacon, and cheese. So very similar ingredients, right? This looks very similar in size, like who knows, depending on like that tray. And like these are the nutrition facts. So for half of a potato, comes in around 480 calories. But the cool part is it tells you half of a serving is 316 grams. They obviously didn't change that for 2 servings of it. But half of a potato is 316 grams.
Yeah.
So a little over half pound. So it's like this is probably a 1 pound or over a 1 pound potato in its final stages.
Yeah. One, like they said, because the serving size didn't change. It's just multiple servings. So the serving size is still 316. You just get 2 servings.
Yep. And so then there's Billy Sims barbecue. So this one comes with sour cream, brisket, and cheese. Also looks pretty loaded. So here they apparently have all types of loaded baked potatoes. And so you can see like this is what a plain loaded baked potato is. And then if you add 3 ounces of brisket, it adds 170 calories to the 720 calories. So you can see like, okay, like how many ounces, like, is that comparable to what I would be eating?
Yeah,
right?
this kind of allows you to build your own because it starts out with how much the potato is by itself. If it's loaded with no meat, and you can add your meat. So you say, all right, cool. If I was going to build it my own,
how much meat am I going to add? Maybe you want more than 3
Double.
ounces of brisket. I mean, I will tell you, ours definitely had more than 3 ounces of brisket.
Yep.
But this is where social media is super fun. And this is what I'm going to tell you. So, like, for instance, you check out their Instagram because there are so many places that you can see that share how they make the food. So this is them making their baked potato. And you can kind of gauge like, oh, look, this is about how much cheese they put in. That was not very much brisket whatsoever. I will tell you that was a lot less than we had. But you can kind of gauge like, how big is the potato? How big are these things?
What is that? Is that whipped butter? Because if it is,
it's whipped butter.
There you go. They put about as much whipped butter as there is potato.
That was 4 tablespoons probably, right? Because each one, maybe,
There you go.
It was a lot.
Looked like an ice cream parlor.
Yeah. Maybe 2 tablespoons. Yeah, we can double check.
There you go.
I feel like those are 4. That's a lot of butter.
Yeah,
that's a lot of butter.
That's gonna be delicious.
Yeah, but this just kind of gives you a gauge to be like, how are they creating these things? And then also like it gives you new places and different things you may want to try out or get you excited for your dish.
And then sometimes when you watch it, Billy, like, oh, this is going to be.
You're like, oh shit.
Or you watch it and you're like, never mind.
Yeah, exactly. But check out their social media, see what other people are posting, because then once again, it gives you that gauge of like what to expect when you go somewhere, right? This was Jason's Deli. So I will tell you right now, this did not come up in a Google search. The only reason why we had found this was because we were walking into a Jason's Deli, which looks phenomenal, has nutrition facts, and there was this massive potato. I'm not even kidding you. It was like the size of my
They
head.
call it Texas style. They should call it Texas size.
It was massive.
I don't even know where they get potatoes this big. Yeah, it looked like a little boat.
It did. So it came with butter, cheese, brisket, and barbecue sauce, and it was massive. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the cool part about Jason's Deli is, hey, guess what? They have like this online estimator that once again allows you to build. So you can see, oh, there's choices of meat. So maybe you added something else besides meat. So we added bacon, different cheeses, butter, whatever. You could even add an egg to it. Add an egg to it.
Yeah, put an egg on everything.
Why not? All right. Now, when you clicked on these like drop down things to add things, the cool part was that you can see when you click on like the little like information or whatever, it tells you the nutritional information just for that particular item. So this was for the potato, and it tells you, hey, for our size potatoes, it was 795 grams. So that's almost 2 pounds for a
So
potato,
big potato.
a big
Yeah.
potato.
This spud is no stud
Yeah.
or no dud.
Oh my gosh. But when you, so it was a 1.7 pound potato. That's what I did when I did the math. And then I added, it comes with 8 ounces of brisket, which was probably very similar to what we got at Switch. Barbecue sauce. So the brisket was loaded with barbecue sauce, 2 ounces of cheese, an ounce of sour cream, an ounce of bacon bits. And so for all of that, the total came in around 1540 on the calories. So if you look, you're like, okay, what we ate is probably a lot closer to this. Of course, we'd have to add the additional nacho cheese that we decided to
Yep.
consume. And if you want to be safer, you can always like, hey, it looks like there's probably more than an ounce of sour cream. I'm gonna add sour cream into my nutrition facts.
Yep.
But once again, the information is out there. You just have to take the time and think about how can I account for these types of things.
Yep.
And so in conclusion, basically find a chain restaurant with a similar dish, compare yours to theirs when it comes to like the ingredients, the sizing, looking at images, and then compare a couple to see like what seems like, this seems like a reasonable option, right? Pick the entry, account for it. And then of course, as with any of the guesstimations, reflect on how the guesstimation went. And if you have questions, of course, submit them. We are here to help, but be sure to watch out our other guesstimation lessons to learn more.